God damn it. Podcasting is hard.
Yeah.
Welcome to Mostly Movies. This is the 9th fucking time we've tried to attempt this.
Yeah, Quinn kept fucking up the title. Of the
Alright, we're going to
podcast.
talk about movies mostly. But there might be other stuff. This is the first episode. So, what did you see lately? What have you seen lately?
I saw the new Ghost in the Shell for the second time.
Okay, I saw that with you.
Yeah.
That was pretty decent. I mean, wasn't great, but the ultimate form of Ghost in the Shell, even having now read the manga, it's got to be the first movie is the ultimate version of Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah. But for like a Hollywoodized live action movie, it was pretty good.
Yeah.
They couldn't go too deep into the existentialism.
No, audiences wouldn't fucking go for that. It'd be too boring. I mean, really, I don't know.
Awkward silence. It's okay. This is our first podcast. Bear with us, people.
Yeah, we're going to talk about right now positivity. We're trying to bring some fucking positivity to movie criticism.
Criticism. Yeah, there's too much negativity on the internet right now.
Fuck you, Doug Walker. That's the reason. I think, personally, Nostalgia Critic has goddamn ruined criticism as a medium. Not that it's ever been that much of a true artful medium in of itself, because most critics don't make their own content. They've only studied it. They've never studied it in the field, so fuck all their opinions.
Yeah, but I think it's important to talk about movies.
It's important to talk about movies.
It just gotten to a point where like everyone is so negative about movies. Like they'll like for Rotten Tomatoes, for example, like people see that little green blob and they automatically think this movie's shit without even like really like considering it or going to watch it.
Yeah, and they don't even realize that it's just no matter the level of negative. How does Rotten Tomatoes determine a review is negative, by the way?
The critic, once they upload the review, they decide if they want to do negative or positive.
So it's kind of like Netflix's system of thumbs up and thumbs down.
Yeah.
So even if they just were disappointed slightly by the movie, it's automatic thumbs down, and it's just binary.
Yeah, it's kind of a broken system.
Oh god, that fucking sucks. I didn't know that. That's terrible.
Yeah. But the thing about Rotten Tomatoes is that it's an aggregator. It's not like It's not like the site makes up like, oh, this is rotten or this is fresh.
Yeah, that was pretty funny though when Suicide Squad fans threatened to friggin' just destroy Rotten Tomatoes. I mean, I kind of agree with them. I like Suicide Squad a lot, but you know, it's not Rotten Tomatoes' fault the critics all hated it. It's Doug Walker's fault. Fuck
yeah. Well, people misinterpret Rotten Tomatoes.
Yeah.
Like I said, like they see.
And then I think it feeds into negativity itself too.
Yeah.
Because people want to jump on that bandwagon of, oh, I hate this movie too. I hate this movie too, guys.
Yeah. And also the whole like IMDb forum. Well, you know, thank God those are closed now. But
pure cancer.
It's like whenever you went on them, you hardly ever saw any like threads about this movie was awesome or this was a great movie.
No, it's all about this movie stinks.
This movie has so many plot holes. This movie sucks. If you like this movie, you're a retard. You know,
and also, people misunderstand plot holes too.
Yeah, well,
I've talked to a lot of people who are like, "Oh, this is a plot hole." It's like, no, it's not. That's just something that wasn't addressed. A movie doesn't have to address everything.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it a plot hole. A plot hole is an inconsistency in logic, and really. Character logic being inconsistent is not even a plot hole. It's just the character might be an inconsistent person.
Yeah.
I can't think of any examples at the moment because I'm an awful broadcaster who doesn't do prep. But you know, yeah, I just recently made a video, as you know. I'm probably going to redo it before I release it, of a defense of Suicide Squad, where I basically say Suicide Squad was a fine movie. Now, again, as I said in the video, and I'm going to say again in the new one, it's not a great movie. It's fine.
It's fun. That's what's important.
It's a lot of fun. It's got amazing production value, which I don't understand why that doesn't buy any equity anymore in viewers. Viewers don't give a shit about production value anymore. And, I mean, they don't realize what it takes. They're spoiled these days. Mm-hmm. They don't realize what it takes to make a fucking movie look that good. Yeah. No, barely anyone who's been in the field, I can guarantee you, like any PAs, any production designers, they have to respect that movie on the level of, that's a good-looking movie.
Yeah.
Like, people were so shocked that it won an Oscar for Best Makeup, and it's like, I saw people specifically noting, "Oh, Harley Quinn's makeup was so difficult."
Yeah, they forget Killer Croc.
They forget Killer Croc was done entirely practically,
Yeah, that was an amazing makeup.
and also the tattoo work on El Diablo, as well as the Joker. Is as much as people hated the Joker's edgy new look, which I thought was pretty decent. I thought it fit with the aesthetic of the movie. Joker's makeup takes a long time and a lot of design effort to do.
Yeah.
Like his teeth are all metal from being knocked out. That was a pretty decent detail. I thought that movie was packed with fucking detail. The DC movies, I think even more than the Marvel movies, are packed with detail.
Yeah, I know you said the guns in particular were pretty detailed.
David Ayer does action amazing. I love the tracers in his movies. He understands how tracer rounds work. They're loaded like every 5th round. I'm going to spurt out about guns for a second.
Yeah, Quinn's a gun spurt people. Just
I'm
so
going
you
to
know,
cut that out.
He's going to talk a lot about guns.
I'm going to cut that out, motherfucker. But yeah, David Ayer is one of the most exceptional action directors that there is. Oh, that reminds me. I'm going to see Heat on the 2nd of May.
You're taking me though, right?
You can get your ticket free.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm just a lazy motherfucker.
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
Thank you.
But yeah, Heat is one of the greatest action movies of all time. Even though it's more of a drama, a thriller, it just has some amazing action sequences.
Yeah, the only Michael Mann film I really love, that one of the few I've seen, is Collateral, and that
Collateral
has like, amazing.
is
the
probably
club
even
scene
better.
is like incredible. One of the best club-based action scenes ever.
Yeah, well, I mean that or John Wick.
I love John Wick's, but I have to say Collateral is a little bit better.
Yeah, because Collateral is just more real. John Wick is much more fancy and flashy, but Collateral is more real and grounded.
Yeah.
But you know they looked at Collateral when they were designing that.
Yeah. You know, back to like negativity around like film today is that a lot of people love to complain about like the abundance of CGI in movies now.
Yeah.
It's like, haven't we reached the point where we kind of accepted that filmmakers are going to use CGI in films? Like, why are
people also don't realize how abundant CGI actually is too. Is a lot of backgrounds are CGI completely, but they're doing them much better now than they did in the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah.
Although technically Rogue One is a Star Wars prequel, so
that's true.
You know.
But there are a lot of practicals in that movie too.
Yeah, but a lot of backgrounds are still heavily CG. There's still a lot of matte painting done in movies. There's also, speaking of negativity on DC, DC seems to be getting a lot of shit, specifically also Warner Brothers, which I'll admit Warner Brothers isn't the greatest company when it comes to stuff. Like, they are kind of greedy, and
they want goddamn 5 Fantastic Beasts movies.
They kind of do suck, but their products are great despite them, I think. It's particularly the DC stuff. People love to shit on Batman vs. Superman, but honestly, the Ultimate Cut was pretty fucking awesome.
Yeah, I thought it was really good.
Yeah. Well, Zack Snyder, as you were saying, is very popular to shit on for I don't understand what reason.
Yeah, he's like the new Michael Bay for people.
From what I've heard, he's one of the nicest dudes in the film industry. Like, he's very enthusiastic. He's almost like Tarantino in that aspect. I've heard that he just loves making movies. I mean, Sucker Punch, aesthetically, was pretty awesome, but it was stupid and didn't know whether to be more as exploitive as it could have been or not as exploitive as it could have been.
Yeah, I think with the story they played it safe.
Yeah, it played it a little too safe, but not safe enough. It was kind of a mess, but aesthetically, it was awesome.
It was entertaining, yeah.
Yeah. And people just aren't satisfied with entertaining anymore.
Yeah, I guess people want more out of movies, but then
why?
Whenever an original movie comes out, it gets shit on. Like,
yeah, people just love to shit on things now.
Yeah,
and they don't know what they're talking about half the time. Although, I did tell you that story about a guy who was talking about. Oh no, you told me that story, wasn't it?
Which story?
The guy was like saying, "Oh, John Wick doesn't know how to hold a gun in John Wick 2."
Yeah.
And it's like, no, that's exactly how you hold a gun. It's actually a more advanced goddamn technique.
Yeah, he said he looked funny with how Keanu handled the
how
gun
it's
John Wick.
For those of you who don't know firearms techniques and firearms like I do, in John Wick, Keanu Reeves, who is a fantastic gun actor, he frequently uses the center axis relock stance, which is you're holding your gun. I'm fucking miming it out like you can see me.
This is where the audience zones out. By the way.
I'm fucking spurging out about guns, but he holds the gun close to him, but it's he holds the gun close to his body, so he's able to push it out when he's ready to fire. So that way, when he goes around corners, it doesn't get knocked out of his hands. I mean, how many times have you seen that in a movie?
Not very often. I think that's why it threw him off, because you don't typically see that kind of gun handling in movies.
It's incredibly accurate. If you guys have seen the video of Keanu Reeves training,
Which is an awesome video. You should look it up.
It's so cool. Keanu Reeves is probably the best shooter in the film industry right now. I mean, also, speak back to Warner Brothers, The Matrix. God damn, I can't believe they're rebooting it.
Actually, I don't even think it's a reboot. I think if I read correctly, it's a remake. It's like a complete remake.
Oh, god damn it, really?
Yeah. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I read.
That would suck. I mean, a sequel I would accept more.
Mm-hmm.
But a remake completely? Because that's one of the films from the 1990s that holds up visually. And it's one of the most important films of all time. Spawned a generation of philosophers. People questioning the nature of reality. And that, I think, is more important. The most important thing a film can do is make people think.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is that completely necessary for a film? No. But when it does do that, like The Matrix did, that's pretty awesome. But yeah, they're remaking it just so they can make more money.
Back to Warner Brothers being greedy assholes.
Yeah, they're kind of greedy assholes, but their products are pretty decent despite them, as I said. Will I see it? Maybe.
I'll probably see it. Maybe not in theaters.
Maybe not in theaters, but you know. The Matrix was such an important film, especially to my childhood. I saw it when I was around 11.
Yeah, same here.
And you can bet I was obsessed with it in middle school. I shouldn't have watched it when I did, but you know.
Yeah, it's not that violent.
It's pretty violent. It's just not that bloody.
Yeah, that's true.
It's kind of nowadays what would be PG-13 in violence, really.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen more violent PG-13 movies nowadays than Matrix.
I mean, really,
like
it's
Kong Skull Island.
Yeah.
As a guy getting like cannibal Holocaust style impaled through the mouth.
Oof. Yeah, I want to see that. Because I like the Vietnam aesthetic, even though that's one of the worst wars we've ever fought, aside from the current war we're still in. But, I mean, even for the 90s, it was kind of tame violence-wise.
Yeah. It just, people didn't like the over-the-top gunplay, I guess.
Well, I think it's more for the swearing it got an R. Because they use fuck in it quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. So that, I mean, the MPAA can suck a bag of dicks.
Yeah, they've been bullshit.
They should be, well, not that they should be destroyed, but, you know, there shouldn't be letter ratings on movies, in my opinion. They should just go by content descriptors. And that should be enough information to know if you want to see the movie based on its content or not. I mean, I've told you my secret about not being disappointed, right? Mm-hmm. My secret, for any of you who want to know, to never being disappointed is knowing what demographic you're in. If you know what you like and know enough about movies and the behind the scenes of them, you can tell by just the production company or the distributor whether you're going to like a movie or not before you see it.
Yeah, like I have a movie review site I go on. And I tend to be like seemingly overly positive with my ratings, but that's just because I don't watch a lot of movies I don't have interest in.
Yeah.
So I dislike a lot less movies than I like movies.
I've only been disappointed once in the past, like, I'd say 10 years, really, and that was barely a disappointment. It was Texas Killing Fields.
Well, that was very disappointing.
It wasn't even that bad.
It was okay.
What I'd sum it up as is the thing I think that represents that movie the best in terms of quality was the opening shot is a beautiful Steadicam shot, and then you see the shadow of the Steadicam off. That's, I think, that movie in a nutshell. That's the movie in a nutshell. Absolutely gorgeous, but flawed. And it wasn't even that awful, really. It was just, meh. That's what it was. I had too high of hopes. I mean, it was a direct-to-video, which, honestly, these days is no indicator of quality anymore. It used to be that direct-to-video just always sucked.
No, there's some pretty good ones. Like, there was this one with Patrick Wilson called Stretch that was actually really good.
When was that, though?
That was, like, maybe 2014.
Yeah, I'm talking about it used to be...
Oh, no, I'm just saying in terms of, like, good direct-to-video.
Yeah, nowadays, direct-to-videos, there's some real hidden gems in there, like Sinners and Saints.
That's a good one.
Great action movie. It has like 6 action set pieces. There's a lot of action.
Would Daylight's End count?
Daylight's End was technically a theatrical run, and actually technically could have been eligible for an Oscar since it had a. I've recently found out the requirements for an Oscar is that you have to have 2 major markets, a week in at least 2 major markets.
Okay.
So they had L.A. and I think they had New York, where they were released in theaters. So they could have technically won an Oscar. I mean, that's not an Oscar movie, but it's a fun movie. I love it.
Yeah, for those of you that don't know, Daylight's End is a
For those of you who don't know,
Mad Max style zombie movie.
I'm kind of really into this one actor, Johnny Strong, who's in Black Hawk Down. He's awesome. He's the most underrated, greatest action star living. Like, not a lot of people know about him, but like he's fucking awesome. He makes knives. He's got a metal band. He's in action movies all the time. He's great.
Well-rounded guy.
Well-rounded action dude. He's awesome. But also, what was I gonna say? Fuck.
I know we were talking about direct-to-DVD movies.
Direct-to-DVD movies used to be, or direct-to-media, home media movies used to be mostly just awful.
Mm-hmm.
But now there's some pretty good independent stuff out there, like William Kaufman flicks, like Anchor Bay. I think is one of the better distributors of
I love it.
home videos, or not home videos, direct to video stuff. I think because that's what got me into. It was Sinners and Saints had a trailer for Texas Killing Fields, and that's what got me into it. It's like, oh, same distributor. So I'm like, yeah, I'll check that out. It looks pretty good. The trailer is pretty awesome. And the movie's just kind of a little disappointing. It wasn't as good as I thought it would be. What else?
I'm trying to think of the most recent movie I was disappointed in, but I can't really think of one.
Because the system works.
Yeah, like
You just know your demographic.
If I'm not interested in the movie, I don't see it. That's the story.
You know your. I mean, fuck all these critics who go out of their way to see movies they know they're gonna hate.
Oh yeah, the whole I had this
I hate that so much. I had to see this movie. No, you didn't. You could have walked out any second. You could have not gone in. You knew you were gonna hate it.
It's just they want to go.
They want to be able to complain about
it. Yeah.
It's this hyperbolic bullshit where it's like, oh, I want to be popular by complaining. It's pervaded really the entire culture of everything these days.
Yeah.
That's why call out. Really, Doug Walker just ruined society. Fuck you,
Back to Doug Walker.
Fuck you, Doug Walker.
That asshole.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like him, and then I got smart.
Yeah, sure, he's fine to like a 12-year-old.
Yeah. I'd go like 14.
14, yeah.
14-year-old. But once you realize he's kind of a prick, like he made a video of him quitting his job.
I remember that, yeah.
Because he's
parading around the office or whatever.
What a fucking prick.
With like a stereo, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
He was like playing some music while he was just like being an asshole.
What an asshole. And then he makes this video that infuriated me about Zack Snyder calling that guy self-indulgent. It's like, fuck you, Doug.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you don't know who we're talking about, it's this guy named the Nostalgia Critic, real name Doug Walker. He says he's playing a character, but no, he's just a prick. I mean, just, what an asshole.
Yeah, and we believe that he's responsible
He's responsible kind of for ruining society, because that's what made complaining as popular as it is now, I think.
Everyone wants to be Nostalgia Critic.
Everyone does, and that is at least ruined film criticism.
You know what I found really interesting? So on that movie review site I mentioned, I read something
where plugged it, right? Letterboxd.com?
Letterboxd.com, yeah, it's a good community if you want to talk about movies. But like I was saying, I saw a comment saying, I find it really hard to talk about movies I love. It's easier for me to shit on movies. And I thought that's really interesting. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm the opposite. I love to gush about movies I love.
I do too, but I also do love to shit on things.
Yeah, but usually when I shit on things, I usually do it in trying to comedic fashion. A lot of people are just
vile and just hateful.
There's no
there's no understanding of how hard it is to make a movie. Mm-hmm. They think it's just like, oh, they should have done this. And it's like, shut up. You don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, why don't you make something?
Yeah, you make something. It's like Roger Ebert at least made a movie. It stunk on ice, but he made his own movie. I guess because he realized, you know what? I shouldn't be talking shit if I can't bring anything to the table. I mean, again, I don't think film criticism should be a paying job. It should never be a career. It should only be a hobby.
Yeah.
You should never be paid for your opinion. Like, if it's not art. And film criticism is not art. That's why my film reviews are only recommendations.
Yeah, that's typically how I do it too. I like to recommend movies instead.
Yeah, it's
Stay
positivity. Like Stephen Brody Stevens. Positive push. Stephen Brody Stevens is this comedian I know.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of obscure comedians.
Yeah, there's gonna be a lot of in stuff. But yeah, we do need to bring positivity back to film analysis.
Yeah.
We need to bring. I think if you've never been on a set, you should not like talk about how movies should have done this or should have done that. Like, if you don't have any skin in the game, just shut up. Really, like I don't really mean that completely, but kinda. Like just.
I mean, I made
your opinion means less than someone who makes art.
And I recognize it's hard fucking work.
It's incredibly hard fucking work.
And my movie was crap, and it took a day to make, but I was exhausted by the end of the day.
Exhausting
I passed
process.
out that night.
It's an exhaustive process. It's not easy. Just to make sure everything's in focus is difficult.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have some kind of... That's another thing, is that people, when they don't like it, they assume there's no talent at all behind it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, David Goyer is... I know people who call that guy a hack. And it's like, not really. He might not be the most talented writer, but he can write.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just people are willing to discredit everything someone's done just because they don't like one thing they did.
And I do write scripts, and I can tell you, it's hard to like.
It's very difficult.
It's hard work.
To make things make sense is difficult. To make characters distinct is difficult. I mean, it's just a difficult process, and someone going through that should garner some modicum of respect, however little you have, especially if you can't do it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
People think they can do all this stuff themselves, and they don't even do it. I bet 70% of the people who shit on Batman vs. Superman, you give them final draft, they couldn't write a script to save their life. You put a gun to their head, they can't write a script. And I wish someone would do that, to be honest. Put a gun to their head. I mean.
Yeah. I actually think that the closing of the IMDb forums is a step in the right direction.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm never one to say speech should be suppressed, but...
No, but I'm seriously, those forums were...
They were cancer.
Yeah, literally cancer.
I mean, granted, we're a little bit doing the thing of ourselves, which we were shitting on, was... We didn't have to go there.
No, but like... Okay, I like
But it's hurting people who are assholes.
Yeah.
So I'm okay with that.
It's like, kind of like...
It's more spiteful than anything, but yeah.
It's sort of the same thing, like, I just want to see how bad it is, really.
Yeah.
Like...
Because we also like garbage movies.
Yeah, that's the thing. We love garbage movies.
And even those are difficult to make.
Yeah, but we don't watch, like,
And we don't watch them with hate.
A Dog's Purpose, but we watch, like, movies like Woods of Evil.
The Room.
The
Especially
Room,
The Room. The Room is amazing.
Like, we like to watch funny bad movies.
Yeah, and even the worst of those take talent to make.
Mm-hmm.
As little talent as it takes to make. Like, Woods of Evil, they're blowing out the goddamn mic, which is probably an on-camera mic.
Yeah, they're doing it constantly. It's not just one scene.
It's a terrible movie, but I love it. And I realize I've been on a set. I know how difficult it is to make a movie. So I give them that level of respect.
Yeah.
And I don't see even 10% of the critics give that level of respect that they did that they did something.
Yeah, so...
I guess this episode should be called Fuck Critics.
Yeah.
Or Fuck the Haters, or something like that.
Yeah. It's just...
Maybe we should edit in that fucking Taylor Swift song.
What's I don't know. I'll listen to Taylor
Shake It Off or something? I don't know. I don't listen to Taylor Swift.
Yeah, me neither. Maybe not.
Actually, it would be pretty funny though. That's the end song is Shake It Off.
Yeah.
Or Let It Go or something stupid.
How we go?
We should have done Well, we should have done prep. I don't know. Just SoundCloud will probably
Fuck
let us
prep.
do
We
it.
don't need prep, man.
No prep.
We just go and gun.
By the way, everyone I've known, well, not known, but everyone I've listened to that's gone to radio school, it's never been as good as someone who didn't go to radio school on the radio. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Like, the best radio personalities never went to school for it. Like, say what you want about his politics, Anthony Cumia is fucking funny. Ron Bennington, one of the best. Jim Norton, amazing on the radio.
Yeah, he's
The only
hilarious. people,
actually, there have been, I gotta make exemptions. Sam Roberts, primetime Sam Roberts, great on the radio. He did go to radio school. And Dan Soder, although he's a comic first, so, you know, he happened to go to radio school, and he's a comic now. Very funny dude. You should check him out. But yeah, it's getting to, we're at 25 minutes. Maybe we should do 30-minute podcasts.
Yeah, 30 minutes is good.
Yeah. So we're getting to, do you have anything to plug, Robbie?
I got my Letterboxd account where I review those movies I love so much that I was talking about.
All right.
It's Tanny RT, as in David Tanny,
The great David Tanny.
Yeah, the novelty musician. So it's TANNY and then RT. And you can find my reviews there.
All right. I can be found at Right on Target, right with the W. I do photography. I guess I can do filmmaking if you need me to.
Do a little of everything.
Do a little bit of everything.
You're also a comic.
I am a comic. You can find me at the Ding Dong Show sometimes.
Yeah, we promise the
Monday
next
nights.
episode will be
Monday nights. At the World Famous Comedy Store in West Hollywood, 10:30 to midnight. I'm not usually there. I will be there pretty soon. Actually, we should talk about. We'll talk about the next episode. Comedy stuff.
Oh yeah, well,
Comedy
I don't know
will be
what's
the next
comedy, but I'll try to contribute what I can.
All right.
All right, peace out, people.
Show's over.